What is going on, everybody? My name is Mike Toledo. Welcome to another awesome podcast. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in this one. We're going to talk about some dents. We're going to talk about someone's car. We're going to talk about a new product that just came out from Glexo. And then Joe and I, Garcia, are going to have a little bit of a deep talk about marketing, Google, websites. He picks my brain a little bit. We kind of just share a little bit of insight about marketing. So let's get cracking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this segment is Auto Elite. Actually, I'm training him right now as we speak. This is Mario all the way from Colombia, and he gave me a hat, and I was like, heck, might as well just sport it on this segment right here. So again, if you have a hat or a uniform or a shirt or something, you want to send it to me, I'll sport it on one of my segments on the podcast, and I'll be sure to give you a shout out. I'll put a link to his Instagram if you want to follow him. But anyways, let's get into this podcast here. So let's talk about Glexo. Glexo just recently released this new, shall I say, it's kind of like a liquid gel, kind of a covering for your tips, and you can see that right here as we are showing you this. And what it does, I've already tested it. It's freaking great. So we'll just play it as it's going right here. And that's not a heat gun. What it was doing, it's actually an infrared light that cures this hard gel on the tip. Imagine a plasti dip, right? But way harder, or an R4, but more smaller and clear. And it's hard as heck in a good way. I mean, hard, like, see, stabbing it and cutting it with a knife. I've already tried it. We're going to go over a little bit of video of that, but it does last pretty well, especially on these sharp tools. Getting through these little holes and whatnot. And to take it off, you're going to have to use some heat. So that's not a problem. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is really, really interesting. I've already tried it, and for the most part, it works really well. There are some things that I think you're going to learn on how to really apply it to get the best, shall I say, even coverage around your tool. And there you go. You can see it heating up and then burning off, and basically he's able to shave that right off the tool. You guys, we all have our favorite bent tools, or areas that we need to get into small holes like this. And then our other option is to use tape. Well, yeah, those days are kind of gone, because you know how that is. When you put some tape on there and then you go stick it in the hole, it's not going to want to fit, right? Because you have to thicken it up well enough. But then now you're either forced to use the tool itself bare and take chances, or you have to re-drill a hole bigger. So it works pretty well as advertised. This is no gimmick. I'll tell you that right now. It is not a gimmick. It really does work. And there's the infrared light that's actually carrying it. Now, excuse me, it takes probably about anywhere between, I would say, a good 1 to 3 minutes, depends on how much you're applying. If you're applying a thick coat, you're going to, at least I would say, 3 minutes, because it might be a little bit fine to the touch, but when you squeeze it, it could still be soft in the middle. So let me show you what I've actually done. Okay. Let's go to this one right here. So this is a little special tool I have, almost similar to one of these tools that they're showing in here. And I use it a lot for really close range dent repairs. And this, I put 3 super sharp dents in this door, and I put some coat on it, the coating on this, and let it dry, obviously, for about 2 to 3 minutes. And I said, okay, let's see how it pushes. And so put it in, And I'm telling you, it got some really good, clean pushing. Here's my take on this though. And this is just initial thoughts. This isn't the full final review. I'm just letting you guys know that this is works fantastic. It's called Glexo Magic, by the way. I think it's going to run for about 120 bucks retail wise. That's what I think I remember. And I think it's well worth it, guys, because if you want to learn to keep your dents clean without chewing it up. See, if I was using that tool right there, I would already probably have more than 2 or 3 poke marks because of how deep it was. Now this one is as deep, it's sharp, but I'm able to get just right to the pit, or it's right to the pit. Now with these type of tools that you're going to be using along with the Glexo Magic, and by the way, I'm going to give you a disclosure too. I am not getting paid. They did give me this. And as you guys know, as always, I will not steer you wrong. This is my initial impressions of it. Is it my final thoughts? No, I will have a final thought video. Matter of fact, I think I'll be posting this along with my other shots that I've been doing on YouTube. I think it's really important that I actually explain and kind of give you my real thoughts. And I'm kind of giving you my real thoughts right here, my initial experience on this. So going back to my thought I was going to say is I will use that gel tip coating. And remember, it's kind of like using a soft tip. You bring the meat up with it, right? And in some cases, it's thin enough where you can actually go back and push a lot more metal than you would with a bare tip. But keep in mind, you're still going to probably use a sharper tip in the end to get that final itty bitty pit out. And that's what I'm doing right here. Folks, it works really good. I'm not going to bullcrap you. I was very impressed with it. After I saw the video, I was like, "Wow, that is crazy!" When they're stabbing with a knife, and then they're actually trying to cut it with a knife. Now, what you don't see in this video clip is that I actually put it on one of these, just like that. I put it on one of those picks, and I hit it against the car. I thought it was going to scratch the car. It just made just a scuff, but not a poke. The metal did not go through the gel coating. So it was it was good. And this proves my point right here. It gets you to this point where you can actually use a pick, something sharp, where it's not going to prematurely make poke marks, right? It takes you to round two, shall I say. That's what I say to my students. Round one is the hardest to get through. Usually you either get knocked out or you quit, right? And keeping your dent clean is the most important. Your first 5, 10, 15 pushes, tap downs as well. But that's a whole new subject. But with Glexo and this Glexo magic stuff, it really is going to make your precision pushing cleaner, a lot cleaner. That's basically what I'm saying. Now, I don't show in this clip either is that you can use a tap down. Let's say one of your skinny tap downs or one of your metal tap downs, you have an extra one laying around, you could put that gel on there, let it harden, and use it as a tap down for softer paints or for delicate areas. So this is going to be a very, very good asset or an accessory for your tools. Fantastic here. So I'm not going to go all into this video from start to finish. All I'm going to say is that it was really, really good. It did have some little micro texture on there, and then I just kind of bring it back up, and we're good to go. So I think that's about it. Yeah, there it is. So go back to my thoughts here. The Glexo Magic, $120. Um, I'm not telling you to buy it right now. All I'm saying is that it's very, very promising based on the short experience I had with it. Um, And I think a lot of people are going to agree that they have it. Don't just take my word for it. I don't want to like advise you to go buy it. It's the bee's knees and all that stuff, but it does work based on just the short experience I have used it, and I'm excited about it because I do have situations where I have to use smaller tools or a pick or a tap down or a blending hammer. You can put it on the blending hammer that you want, soften the sound, still keep that, the accuracy of it. So you have a lot of potential for that. Shoot, I was even thinking about putting on a little bit of a paddle in the area. So it seems to hold up really, really well. Is it going to be bulletproof? No, I don't think it will. Um, that is also going to depend on how much you layer it up on the tip itself, but and the environment that you're going to be using it like in heat. Cold. I obviously I don't know how well it hold up in cold. I would assume it hold up longer in colder environments than it would like if you're in Phoenix or and maybe in Latin America where it's a lot more hotter, things like that. So, but nonetheless, I guess the only way to test it for sure as I do my final thoughts is put a heat gun on the surface area of the panel and see if it's going to go through any sooner or prematurely, because Tessa tape is the other alternative for that, right? And that does hold up twice as long as gaffer's tape, but it's expensive and it's hard to use. So yeah, I think this Glexo stuff, Glexo magic will be, I think, quite beneficial, and it'd be quite interesting to see what the rest of you guys think of it. So that's my take on that. I hope you guys check it out. All right, so next, what we have here is Stewart's paintless dent repair. Now he's got a cool little truck. We're just going to go over it because it's a little spotlight little segment I like to do if I see something cool. Stewart is also one of my past students too, but it's not just because I'm favoring my students. It's interesting to see what these people have and how they set up. Like he's got a really cool setup. Now you've seen similar ones like this in people's vans and their setups, but Phil, he actually has a little. He everything's inverted. He has a power inverter inside of it. He's got his drawer systems in there. Really clean paper towels here. This guy seems like he's really, really getting things organized. Tool holders on the sides. Now you can get some of these on Amazon as well, so it doesn't have to be always Snap-on if that's something you're thinking about. But check them out, Stewart's PDR, stewartspdr.com, and he's out of Louisiana area, so already off and running. And that was about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, that he actually trained with me. And so check him out. Pretty cool setup, Phil. Thanks for letting me show off your vehicle here. So another segment here, right? So we're moving along. This repair,
This is ugly.
this repair right here. This is a repair that did not come out. I would say as good as I wanted. You know, nonetheless, it was it was pretty stretched. I didn't know how stretched it was until I really started working on it. And then I started feeling the flimsy metal. Now, this part right here, let me go back just a little bit. If I can go back a little bit, this part in the middle that you see, I don't know if hopefully my mouse is showing that, but this part in the middle that's where it's all the pressure was locked up. And before I was going for that area, what we were trying to do is get what was holding it was the edge. And so what we wanted to do is take some of the edge pliers, and this repair is actually about a year old. Okay, it's or maybe a little bit older, maybe almost a year and a half old. Because Nelson trained with me last year during the COVID beginning of that, like February, March, somewhere around there, and so I didn't have it out yet. And this is the edge pliers. Okay, and this is from B&D. I think Anson carries it. There's a different varieties of them now, and it seemed to really help a lot, like bringing that edge back straight. So that's what I'm showing you here. Now, here's the thing too, as well. This video is about 45 minutes long. All I did was I decided not to cut anything. And I'm just going to keep it playing right here. Um, I just uploaded the raw video of it because I'm talking, you can see me talking with him. We're going through some options here, how to straighten it out. Let's just see how it's working. So it's interesting to be a fly on the wall and just without me doing the fancy edits like I normally do. I figured, you know what, this will be a good video just to watch straight and see. Now it is going to be broken down in two parts because nobody wants to watch a straight 45-minute video without a break. So I did break it in half. Now you can see that the edge is coming back. What that also does on this type of repair is that it'll stabilize the the door itself. So when I go to push or Nelson goes to pull or use the glue pulling, it's less chance of it oil canning. We're just putting some stability back into the metal by straightening that edge. And we're actually trying to loosen that glue that's stuck against the seam as well. So um, here we do a lot of glue pulling. This is something that you're going to see on denttrainer.com. I'm also going to release a 15-minute kind of summary video on YouTube, but the full version, full 45-minute version will be on Dent Trainer. And there are some details, actually a lot of details that you'll want to see because that's what really changes the dynamic of the repair. Some people like to use glue like a slide hammer. Some people use a mini lifter. I use whatever I think is going to allow me to give me the best chance to pull the most. Now you can see it's not really pulling really well. Now some of you guys might think in this clip going, well, I would have used a bigger tab. Well, be careful when you use a bigger tab because if you use too big of a tab, what happens is that you will pull the shoulders too much along with the center. Actually, you'll pull more shoulder than you will center. So what we do is we just add a little bit more glue. We didn't really go too big of a tab, just more glue. And we waited just a little bit longer. And as you can tell, we're using hog glue for this type of repair. And this really does give it a better pull, shall I say. Now, I'm not going to go over this every single, part of this whole 45-minute video because I'm going to show you the second half. But this is what is the Kiko, one of the dead center tabs. And now you can see it really yanking. And I was like, okay, stop just a little bit. Let's take a look at it. And it is bringing it up. So this is basically tapping down, pulling, tapping down because there's a lot of locked pressure on this edge. Just to give you a spoiler alert, we did not get this part out 100%. I pulled after Nelson started pulling about 150 times, and I could not get it to come out. It came out a lot cleaner than this, but it just did not come out the way we intended. And the other thing was we couldn't get a tool on it without it wanting to really poke up. So shall I say? Now maybe that Glexo magic might have helped, but it was so thin we couldn't get it. So then we went to a crease tab like this. And we started having some better luck because crease tabs in general pull harder, in my opinion, than a regular round tab. So that's a little tech tip there. So if you ever have a little hard time with something, you want to go with crease tab, especially near the edge, So
Actually, I gotta plug
here's,
that. That's
and that's not a hole we drilled. That is a factory hole right there. And this is generally how it came out. Complete truth, not perfect. Definitely a huge improvement. There were some mistakes that that probably could have been a little bit better, maybe 10% better. And then here's how it looked outside. You might have already, if you've seen the IG TV video, the Instagram TV video that's on my channel, you'll see a 15-minute preview of this. It's definitely interesting, and then I'll be releasing on YouTube, and this will be ready for you guys to watch on Dent Trainer, the full version. Okay. So that is just a little bit of kind of insight about how that went. Now, here's how what I want to talk about here, right? Not all repairs like that are going to come out absolutely great. I think what we do is we watch, a guy like Bryce Kelly or Jean or somebody that's like consistently showing perfect repairs all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that at all because they're on a whole different level on certain things. But what I want you to remember is that as long as you have tried your best, there shouldn't be any shame of you showing your work. And actually, that's reality of PDR. Um, we have a certain uh, responsibility to educate the customers as well that not every repair is going to come out perfect. And I'm going to tell you that, for instance, I have a couple repairs that came out pretty well on YouTube, big smashes, and I have it on video, and I'm proud of them. I mean, who wouldn't be proud of their own work? But what happens is that customers will send you big smashes and they think that that's the expectations all the time. I've seen your work on YouTube. I've seen you do worse on YouTube. Why can't you fix this? Well, that just tells me that I haven't done enough of my homework to let people know, the public know that not every repair like this is going to come out like this. There are circumstances. And just like that black Civic, there were some circumstances to that. I mean, pinched edge, um, a pressure lock, a crease, um, limited access, right? Buckled seam. There's a lot of bad things that go on that repair. Now, I'm not telling you that it couldn't have come out any better. I already told you that, but you shouldn't be ashamed of showing like not perfect work. And anybody who would put down another tech about their work, to me, I call them a PDR prick. I mean, you don't do that. There's a certain respect. You just don't put another person's work down. You don't know how bad it was or how long they've been through things. And I think it's rude. I think it's irresponsible of you. I think you're immature. I think that you don't understand and you don't deserve to be in the industry if you're going to treat other peers like that. This is my take. A lot of you guys work really hard. You're feeding your family. Some of you doing your best. Some of you don't care about your work. I hope you would think you do, but there are people out there who really just think about their the money, and I get that too. But if you think like that, you shouldn't be actually talking down to other techs too as well. So that's just my thing. It's a pet peeve. I see it a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I personally don't stay on Facebook as much as I used to. Back in the day, I used to be on it all the time, share, give, and it's not that I don't want to do that. I just find myself it's a distraction for me, and it doesn't let me concentrate and move forward with things. I do think there is definitely some benefits off that. I'm not saying you won't find benefits, but going back to the repairs, we definitely need to keep educating our customers about a cost, about the type of repair, what the involvement was, and yeah, I think we need to keep inspiring ourselves, and I'm telling you, it keeps getting crazier and crazier. Good in every year. Techs are getting faster. They're getting better at an earlier experience. Thank goodness for the internet, right? Dent Trainer, YouTube, forums. You know, as long as you can extract what you need in a positive way and and put it towards your style, you will always get better. And I don't mean just in the dents and the physical aspects and the results of your repairs, but as a company, as you are growing, you know, learning to give your customers an experience, right? You know, when I'm training with students, I treat them as a customer, okay, as a client. You know, when they're training, or when a customer is comes to my shop, or when my one of my techs go to the customer's house, what are we actually doing? What's a good aspect of a business when you are interacting with customers? What's your ultimate goal, right? And the ultimate goal is the experience, right? Someone texts me, they get a reply, estimate, ballpark figure on it, right? And then the explanation. And I'm always thinking about how can I make that experience even more like interactive or even better of an experience. I have a lot of ideas all the time. I think about that. Students coming to my shop, I pay attention. I think about them, right? And I just, okay, what would you do? What they're paying this. How do I give them the best experience that they could possibly have? Regardless if it's a student, whether it's a customer, doesn't matter. Just think about some of the places, some of the businesses or places you've been that you enjoyed. Why did you enjoy it? It's the experience. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And technically, your comments to other techs when you're on Instagram or your Facebook or any social media platform and you're being a prick, remember, you're still giving them an experience, right? Is it a good experience about you or is it a bad experience about you? Because they're not going to forget either way. Just remember that. They're not going to forget that either way. That goes for your customers. So, anyways, enough about that. Let's get on with Joe Garcia. We get a little deep on the marketing part, Google, websites. I think you're going to find this really interesting. So let's check it out. Meanwhile, we haven't got together in a while for a little bit. It's been hit and miss. Me and meaning Joe Garcia. So we got Mr. Dent Evo Joe Garcia here, right here next to me here. How you doing there, Joe?
Hey, what's up, Mike? I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I just can't complain. Like I said to everyone else, I could, but it's not going to help, dude. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, sometimes it feels good though,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I guess you're right, man. You know,
I've been known to dwell in self pity a few times in my life, so
I,
I
you know,
understand.
hey, if we can't feel sorry for ourselves, who will, dude? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Well, how's it been out in the work week, dude? How's it been PDR wise, dude?
Um, man, the phone calls have picked up. I don't know if it's people getting their tax refund checks or the weather or who knows what, but I'll take it, man. So
Yeah, good,
people are calling. That's good.
good.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good myself now. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I advertise. You know, people ask me, how do you advertise? Do you advertise, Mike? Because you're on YouTube, you're on this, you're on that. Do you pay for advertising? And I personally do. Yes, I never stop promoting myself. But my point is, I'm getting there right now. Is that I advertise on Google and I advertise on on Yelp. Now, some people say, or a lot of people say they've never heard of Yelp or that Yelp doesn't work in their area. But it has evolved differently. But I will maybe get to that subject later. But anyways, those are the two main paid ones. Other than that, I don't pay anything else. So anyways, Joe, what happened is that my wife was telling me, hey, we spent, I don't want to say how much it was, but it wasn't cheap, dude. And she's like, what the hell's going on with Google? I go, what are you talking about? They charged us X amount of dollars 5 times this month. I said, what? So I went on there and I was working with one of their Google's consultants, and they long time ago they decided to do a test campaign, and it said test campaign. Then you think about it, never got any traction. Well, I didn't realize it. It started learning after all that time, right? So campaigns can learn after a while. Sometimes they learn super fast. Sometimes, Joe, as you know, they take a long time to really gain traction. Now, that might be because it's really not set up correctly in the first place, but those ads, if you leave them on over time, they will eventually gain traction because they're learning, right, on what keywords to bring and help you get business. So long story short, it worked. It worked too good. It worked just as good as my current one, and it charged me double the cost, right, for the same customer. So I realized it was on. I apologized to the wifey. I wasn't paying attention to it, and I paid way too much, double my normal budget.
Okay. So is that because more people were clicking on it?
Yeah, it was showing. Here's the crazy thing about Google Ads, right? And Joe, you and I kind of went over this a little bit privately, and we can talk about it here. So when you set up a Google ad, you just don't want to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. That's not the way you want to do it. Because if you have a phrase, dent repair or, auto car dent repair, well, if a keyword pops up, someone's searching for auto repair, that phrase will show up to that customer and they possibly would click on you, thinking that you do auto car repair services. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So that campaign had different phrases like that, and it wasn't exact matches, and it wasn't the type of exact keywords that I would normally have in my normal campaign. So it was throwing everything at the wall and seeing what would stick. And technically maybe 20% of those were actually real leads, and the other ones were just people just going zonkers clicking on it. So it was really a waste of money.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. How long ago did you start that campaign? When did it start learning to now?
I think it was about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
Because one thing about Google, the good thing about Google is it's not like Facebook. So Facebook, if you have an ad, you generally got to stay on top of that ad. You can't set it and forget it, because it will get to its peak and then just fall off within 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month if you're lucky. It'll hang on there, but after that, people get tired of seeing that ad on Facebook. All right. Well, with Google, you could keep the same ad as long as it's a really good ad, because what it does is they create dynamic ads. They create your ad, right, and it'll switch it around for you automatically with different headlines and stuff like. So it'll learn what people are looking for, and pull words from your website, right, and kind of show it to the customer.
I gotcha. I wasn't clear on what the dynamic ads meant. Now I think I understand. So basically, it clues into what people are really searching for, and it changes it for you.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. The other thing is that if you have competition, sometimes it will pull even their name into your ad. And I've gotten in trouble for that. And one of my competitors thought I was deliberately using his name in my campaign. And that wasn't the case. No, I mean, who would want to use someone else's name, especially if you got a better name. I'm just,
Right.
you know what I mean?
And that
And
makes sense, man, because I've done that. I think we all search our own business name, and then we see a competitor's ad, and we're thinking that's exactly what I thought, and I guess they're not necessarily doing that, or you weren't at least.
no, yeah, Google, we'll see. It was literally pulling that name and putting it in the title of that
Wow.
campaign. And I
Oh, wow.
technically, I have there was a person actually who had a dynamic ad, and he was advertising wheel repair, and my name was in his ad, and he didn't even know it. I laid into him too, right? And I
Oh boy.
realized it's a dynamic ad, and I told him he has to contact Google and tell him to take that off, dude, because that's and Google I think
Oh
is
boy.
getting better at it, but. So if you guys create dynamic ads, you need to put a negative keyword of someone's name in there, so it won't pull that word up or that phrase in your title.
Okay. Mike, what about if somebody deliberately was using your name in their ad campaign? What happens then?
Well, I would.
Do they get penalized or anything?
Well, they would get a letter of cease and desist from my attorney. That's what they would get. That's the first thing they're going to
Okay.
get. I mean, that's the quickest way to tell them, hey, you need to stop doing that. Otherwise, we're
Okay.
going to go to court. So,
Huh.
my wife especially is not afraid to do that. I mean, I think technically
Yeah.
everybody. I don't think anybody wants to go that route, but if they did, that's we'd have to hand up professionally, obviously. That's the first thing. But that's a good question. I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, I'm
I think
sure.
the most common thing that does happen is plagiarism. So someone will. I remember back in the day when I was creating my website, and I spent a long time creating the verbiage for it, the copyright for it, and I would see other people use my because there weren't that many Dent PDR sites back then, dude. Right? Like we're talking in
That's right.
2001. And what you could do is you could take maybe you have a unique copyright, and you could take a paragraph of that,
Mhm.
right, and then paste it into Google search, and there will be other people showing that they copied that from you. You know what I mean?
They copy,
It'll show
copy and
all the
paste
links.
it. Wow. Wow. And obviously, is there a timestamp on everything with the internet? Like like let's say you wrote all that copy, all the words on your website and the web pages 10 years ago, and somebody decided today to copy and paste your material. Does Google see that? Can they see who had it first?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's site mapping, and that's the crazy thing about it. You hear it all the time. It's like, hey, don't copy people's word for word stuff. Create your own,
Yeah.
because Google, they know the authority of that content. So,
Okay.
and when they see another site or URL that has the same copy, well, it knows. It says, "Up, hey, you're just a copy person," So we're actually we're gonna put you down to the bottom end of the line here, buddy. So, and that's how you can't really trick Google, because it's gonna know, and that's why you can't keyword stuff your site either. With just keywords. I mean, I've done it, and it worked back in the day, but as Google is becoming almost human smart now, and it's very grammar alert too. So, and another
Okay.
thing too, Joe, is that people who get their sites created, it has to be clear, cut, dry. You got to act like you're talking to a kindergartner, not in a
Okay.
dumb way, but a very
Right.
clear, concise. And you got to think about that. You're talking to the way I write my content is like, I'm talking to my customer, number one. Two, I'm actually indirectly talking to the search engine, kind of just
Okay.
feed them a little bit of hints that
Yeah.
I do paintless dent repair in San Diego. I take door dings out. I take big
Yeah.
dents out. I don't use suction cups. and I'm not a body shop, but better. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Do you
that's a
hear
lot
all
of
those
keywords right
keywords?
there.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And then bang,
Right.
the search engines
Sure.
start going, okay, I'm mixing. All right, paintless dent repair.
Right.
Okay. Auto body shop, possibly we'll put them up there. It's so as
Right.
long as long as it makes sense, like human sense, it's going to make way sense for the search engines.
Okay. Okay. So, is there a certain particular amount of words that is ideal to have on a web page for maximum exposure to the
Well,
search engines?
you know what? That's a good topic, dude. I mean, this turned out to be a really good topic, huh? So I think the best thing you want to actually I know is that you know what HTML and not HTML, H1 header is. Do you know what that is?
I think so. Is that the first heading on a web page?
Yeah, it's the big block.
Okay.
It's the big
Okay.
block, right?
Not the logo at the top,
No,
right? But
no,
just
it's like in any paragraph you have, you should have an H1 header, like the
okay.
topic of that paragraph. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yep.
So
Okay.
if you had Dent Evo on your site and you're talking about paintless dent repair, well, I would put dent repair. I would put dent repair. Riverside. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Okay.
And then take your keywords and then match it with that underneath and kind of just do exactly what I was mentioning earlier.
Okay.
Kind of mix it in and things like that. But the main thing what you want to do is make sure that those title tags on each page are set, okay, and they're unique.
Okay. So by set, what do you mean exactly? Like,
Well, let's pull something up, dude. Right?
okay.
Let's
It's
pull
fine.
something out. Let's see if we can. Let me pull a website up here, and let's go to dent removal. So and this is something to think about when anybody has a site here. Let me just pull, and that's here. I'm going to add you to the right here, Joe. Okay. So here is one of the sites I built is dentremovalsandiego.com. Okay. And
Okay.
so if you go, if I go to the top of this tab right here, okay. Actually, let me just make sure I click on it. You see how this is just, I just hovered over it and it says dent time, auto dent repair, removal in San Diego, dent repair and removal shop San Diego. So I've got dent, I've got auto, I've got dent repair, I've got removal. So any of those could be like that. Now let me go to services. Okay. And if you hover over that, right, this one says dent repair San Diego, mobile paintless car dent ding removal.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we've got, that's the title of it. And then inside your site, you can have content in the middle. You can actually have a lot more than this. Your map, your address, if you wanted to tell the search engines, hey, I've got my shop here, or I service this area. Even a map is a keyword helpful for the search engines to do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little blurry on from my point of view. Under paintless dent removal San Diego on your page there, uh, what was that there? The words above call now. What does that
Oh,
say
so
exactly?
it says we provide the best mobile or shop paintless dent removal service in San Diego to meet your needs. We promise to provide every dent repair with quality craftsmanship and to your highest level of satisfaction. So
Nice.
So basically, here's another cool thing about this too, is that it provides everything that the customer is looking for, right? That one sentence or that one paragraph, because that's important, Joe, is customers, they don't care if you won 10,000 awards. They don't care if you're the best dent guy. Well, they will, but they don't care at that time if you're the best dent guy. They just want to make sure that you are capable and that you are telling them what they want to hear. Because they're
Right.
already sold that they want to fix the dent. They just want to ensure that you can and that you will and how you're going to do it. So try to
Sure.
answer your most common questions with your customers in one paragraph. So
Yeah. Yeah, and not just, I think it's fair to say that that one paragraph answers a lot of questions that they already have, and maybe questions they didn't think they had, as well as the the picture behind, Big John working on the fancy car right there, and your logo and everything placed symmetrically. I think that answers a lot of questions as well. Would you say?
well, absolutely. I think the main thing about, you know, building a website or having a website is that you got to remember that it sells for you 24/7, right? I mean, without a website, it's like it's your best salesperson you can ever have
Yeah.
that you can hire. And
Yeah.
it
Sure.
personally, that's where most people should really invest the most in the first part of your business is really get a good site that can help attract customers to you, and don't look
Yeah.
at it as spending money. I mean, and the minute you start thinking about spending money, the minute you lost that, you're not investing in your company anymore.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Also, build your site around the most common keywords that, so if you, it's the advantage of me advertising is that I get to see the keywords that people are looking for when they find my site. So what I
Okay.
do is I build my website around the most common keywords, and the most keyword, the phrase is dent repair. Number one, dude.
Okay.
Even though we say paintless dent removal, PDR, as much as us dent guys know the terms, the public still doesn't know that. They're still looking
Mm.
as it as a dent repair, or
Right.
how to fix my dents. And another crazy thing
Sure.
is dent repair near me.
Okay.
So figure out how you can implement what people are looking for and have it make sense. If you feel like, oh man, my site's got already a lot of content, I don't know what to do, where to put more, then that's where you start building a blog. You start, creating, I would call it a news factor, and kind of
Okay.
just writing articles about it and then referring it. So if you have a YouTube channel, you may want to just don't only just release your YouTube channel, but write a blog about that YouTube video, and then
Okay.
paste it, because Google will go, aha, hey, not only has he got a video, he's got an article about it. Hey, let me show you. So, so there's a lot of cool
So
things that you could do to build your own SEO and really be an authority not only on Google but with the industry in your local area.
makes sense. Can you do the blog on your actual website, or do you have to have it linked to a different website?
Yeah, you can. It's obviously, there's a different factors of most websites now. Regardless if you bought a website through our past websites that we have, or you go to Wix or you go to WordPress. WordPress is probably the strongest site for it. Um, WordPress is still very effective. It's probably the best one for blogs. It's
Hmm.
just not as cut and easy as dry. I would say it's more for advanced guys who like to tinker with their sites and stuff like that. So, but if you're
Okay.
hey, paste and build your own site. GoDaddy has stuff. Almost every platform now has blogs. But that's a whole new
Yeah.
subject on how to make sure your blogs are effective too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I did mine on Squarespace,
Yeah.
and it's pretty user friendly. Even still, it was a little challenging for me because I'm kind of inept with this stuff. But if I can do it, just about anyone can. Um, but I would recommend hiring a professional, of course, because I took forever on mine, but once I figured things out, especially with the SEO, man, I'll tell you, organic listings are starting to show up from just the work that I did back in December and January, and I'm really happy about it.
Well, Joe. listen, if you have here's some advice to anybody. It's like, well, should I hire somebody to do my stuff or should I do it? I always encourage you to try to do it yourself. That's number one. Okay. Why? And I'm not just talking about a website, because you will learn more about and understand, even if you don't end up completing or end up you getting burnt out, at least you know some knowledge about it. You're not just completely trusting some stranger or some guy who says they know how to do a website. You can keep them honest, shall I say. You know what I mean? You can kind of
Yeah,
go,
for sure.
hey, did you do your SEO? Did you put the title tags in right? What about the H1 tags? But, and now they're like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I have to do my job. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right. You can
um,
speak the language.
yeah, it's
Right.
better to know a little about a lot than nothing, you
Okay.
know? And that's the key thing. And that's how I ended up doing it. But I got so excited about it. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yep.
to me personally, I was like, I'm going to be able to control my future. I'm going to be able to do something. That's when I come into this realm and I'm talking to you, I still get fascinated about it, because we're creating a podcast, right? For
Right.
everybody to listen, for everyone to hear, and we're doing it right in our own homes, right?
Yeah.
And then
That's
here's
right.
our phone, and you get creative, and you could create anything you want and
Yeah.
build your business from your phone and your home office. I mean, it's
It's
amazing.
pretty awesome, man. When you really think about it, I mean, it's just amazing, and it puts you in. I feel like kind of, not to go off on a tangent again here, but it's put me into touch with what I offer to my clients, uh, to the point where I can articulate it even better because I've been writing it and videoing it and taking pictures of it, and just across the board. It's burned into my subconscious mind now because of all that.
Yeah, yeah, Joan, you just mentioned a couple minutes ago, you said you're starting to see the results of you being able to put that work in. Like, you put all that content in, you started writing some articles, and now you're starting to seeing it take effect. And that's what's great about it. I call that, uh, planting your seed. All right.
Yeah.
Money doesn't grow on trees, dude. And if it did, it's not going to grow right away. Okay. Let's talk about fruit. All right. So you want a fruit tree, you got to plant one. All right. And then for
Right.
you to harvest it and keep that way, you got to keep planting. You just don't go, okay, I'm going to plant one and then let's see how it goes. And then you're waiting and you're waiting, you're impatient. And then you say it doesn't
Yeah.
work. Right. And then
Right.
here's this crazy thing, is that you stop nourishing it. And so what does that mean, that you don't you stop nourishing it? Well, you stop maintaining it, right? You stopped writing blogs about it. You stopped like promoting it and doing social media to it. So of
Yeah.
course it's going to stop growing, and because you stopped promoting it.
Right.
That's just the way I think. That's the way my gears spin, because I'll create something and I know it's called planting the seed. And so how am I going to get that to grow faster? That's the
Sure.
point, right? So
Sure. Sure. So we are all creators now, with social media and everything. And
you are a creator the moment you signed up to be a PDR technician, regardless, dude,
yeah.
right? You're a self
Yeah.
promoter, you're a creator, you're a
Yeah.
technician, you're a business owner, right? You are
Right.
you're an accountant. I mean, you got a lot of hats to wear. You don't realize how many hats you have to put on, and you have to be pretty good at all of them.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think sometimes if I had put this much effort into something else, I might have actually had a real job, at some point in my life, a real
Dude,
career.
I've thought about it too. I was like, man, if PDR just took the tank and like went down and everything turned to composite like overnight, I go, would I still be able to survive? And I personally think I would, because I'm savvy at other things
Yeah.
that helped me get here. You know what I mean? I do.
Yeah. I believe that, I think that what we do, especially when something's really challenging, so, and this is something to tell the listeners here is like, it seems like so much trouble to post those posts of your work and the video and edit it and write all the hashtags and everything in between, or doing your own website, or even just writing a blog post. It seems like a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but once again, anything that is challenging, it's only going to make you that much better. And I believe wholeheartedly that when something's challenging and you can break through the barrier, those skills transfer over into other forms of other areas of life, whether that's in work or even relationships, or all over the place. We just have to embrace it, I think.
That's right. Listen, I don't really I see, I can't sleep on a plane. I can. I tried. I've never been able to truly fall asleep on a plane, but some people, it makes them go to sleep. But I look at time as valuable, like very valuable. So
Right.
it almost gets me in trouble, honestly, because my wife really, like, she says you're narcissist when it comes to the PDR. But listen, I'm not trying to tell people to be like me, but what I'm saying is that you got free time, you can write something. You could write 5 different types of posts for your Google My Business. You could write that, and some of that Google My Business content could be a new blog or a new article on your site or a new page. We write a lot. How many times do we write about, we post on Instagram and we write a little topic about it? Man, you could take some of those bits and pieces and put them together, and repost it, and repurpose it, shall I say, not repost it, but repurpose some of that stuff. I mean, we've got content. We just got to be creative again, and think about how we can do it. Again, my biggest thing, I think, Joe, is that us techs, we care about too many of what other techs think. That gets in the way a little bit. Yeah. And that's important to an extent, but don't let it get in the way of how to run your business, and don't forget the overall goal is to attract your customer. And so, I think that's important.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely, man. And the thing is, since we bring up the social media and, like a simple Instagram post, I mean, let me tell you a quick story. I told you that I created my own website, and I actually started it back in like 2015, right? On Squarespace, and I didn't know what the heck to do. It was just, even as user friendly as Squarespace was, the website platform, it was beyond my capability. But what I did understand was Instagram, and that same year I started my Instagram for Dent Evo, and for whatever reason, I mean, it's very user friendly, and I think it was even easier then because it was very simple. It was just pictures then. I don't think they even had video, and so it was very user friendly for me, and I got really proficient at it, and I kind of evolved along with the platform, the app, as it evolved, and here we are now with IGTV and Reels and all kinds of features that I probably wouldn't have known where to start had I started now on there. But my point of bringing that up is that going back into Squarespace, since I got proficient with Instagram, it was like, hey, this is just more of a more advanced Instagram with more features. It's kind of the same thing though.
Yeah, it's kind of like iMovie, and then you move to Final Cut, like Final Cut Pro.
Exactly. You just kind of, but it doesn't happen overnight. You have to learn it and chisel away at it, and you have to want to do it, and which leads me into another thing that I feel like, one thing I see a quality in you, Mike, is you always seem to be like really grateful, man. You kind of exude this gratitude for what you have in life, man. And you and I have had, long talks about that. I know you're a grateful man. I think that plays a big role in how you succeed today in doing these things. That motivates you to, like you said, on a plane, you're not, instead of falling asleep, you're writing ad copy for your website. You're writing posts, and it never stops. Is that, am I correct in perceiving it that way? That it's gratitude that is helping
Yeah.
you to continue to do this?
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, shall I say, I don't know if you said, I think you're more humble in gratitude more than me, to be honest with you, Joe. And I know this people are going, hey, they're giving each other's pat on his backs, but once you get to know Joe Garcia, there's no way you would disagree with me. But not to change the subject, Joe, but again, Mike Toledo and Dent Time wouldn't be able to be where it's at unless my wife let me. You know what I mean? Like she was able to, hold the fort down, raise 2 kids to 3 kids, 8 years later, had a third one. It was tough. So, if you have the opportunity, you have a great spouse, a supporter like that, that's part of the success. I mean, that's how I was able to do that much stuff. I remember people telling me,
Right.
you don't sleep, man. Like, how do you find enough hours in the day to get what you do done? And
Right.
for a while, I wouldn't go to sleep until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because I would be editing videos, posting stuff, creating blogs. But listen, guys, I mean, and ladies, if you guys want it, here's a cool saying I said, dude, that I found not too long ago, and it was so true, Joe. And it goes like this. It goes, if you really want it, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. I mean,
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, right? And damn true.
Sure.
If
It is
you
true,
really
man.
want it, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse.
No. Amen. Yeah, dude, I've found plenty of excuses, and I've dwelled, like I said before, man, I've dwelled in the self-pity. It's a daily, uh, a daily struggle or a daily challenge. I mean, I guess maybe that's it. We can look at things as struggle, or we can look at them as a challenge, and
Yeah.
it's all up
Yeah,
here.
it's all attitude, man. I mean, like you could have financial trouble, you could have do it this way, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I know it's easier said than done. I mean, I know that, but it's right then and there. It's about the attitude, right then and there, dude. It's you could either really keep going that way and steer it that way, because it might drift that way, but it's only going to stay there if you want to keep it steered there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, everything happens for a reason, and look at the opportunity that will come out of that thing. And listen, I've had my pitfalls and stuff I don't even want to mention on here. It hasn't been all glory for me through these years, dude. I've had some ups and downs just like everyone else. And, again, it's always a mental challenge. That's what life's about. And that's what PDR life's about, right? You have the recession, you have obviously this epidemic that came. So, like you said, you either feel sorry for yourself or dust yourself off and get back on that horse, dude. So,
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Go ahead.
don't know, man. This is a quick little nice get together that you and I had, dude. You want to add anything else to this?
No, man. I actually had a few questions for you regarding websites, though. Going
Yeah.
back to that, I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a minute, I
Losing my
noticed
hair,
that
dude. Look at
your
this. Yeah.
oh, dude, come on, man. I'm not even gonna take off my hat.
Look at,
I
people
had to
don't
wear a
see
hat.
my head off, dude. But hey, listen, it's like Do you ever seen what's his name from ESPN? Got Chris Burleson, dude.
Okay.
He's like, my hair's going back.
Yeah.
So anyway,
It's an
go
old
ahead,
joke,
dude. I
man.
didn't mean to cut
You're
you
not
off.
losing your hair. You're getting more head, man. All right.
Yeah. I could look all
Come
cool
on.
and stuff. Yo, what's cracking, dog? So.
Yeah, man. That's all right, dude. Hey, if I had a full head of hair like you, dude, I wouldn't even be wearing a hat. So
You didn't see the back
Come
of my
on
head
now.
yet, dude.
Yeah.
I ordered a toupee. It's on its way, dude. It's real hair, dude.
Yeah,
So.
dude. Hey, man, they might come back in style, and just hope it doesn't get windy. San Diego. Spray paint it. It's supposed to be paintless, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Go ahead, dude. We'll end it with your questions, man. So go for it, dude.
Okay, cool. I noticed that your web domain, it didn't say denttime.com. What did it say? Dent Repair San Diego?
DentRemovalSanDiego.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a good question. I like to have different URLs, especially URLs that people are actually searching. So if you have keywords in your URL, it just makes it more prominent for Google to promote your website, your URL.
Okay.
And and not only that, some people say, well, you can't have more than websites. It'll find out. Well, as long as it's completely different, as long as your content is completely different. And that's why I have two different phone numbers too, as well. I have an 858-943. I have a 858-699. So I'm pretty sneaky and savvy.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with having different websites, but it better be damn clear cut and dry and different. So
it could still have the same logo though.
Yeah,
It has
the same logo. Yeah. It had different emails. It has We Fix Cars San Diego at Gmail. So that wasn't associated with the Dent Time at Gmail. So that's forwarded to my Gmail account.
Right.
So yeah, it's
and hey man, if you're giving away secrets to the competition, man, you can edit this out.
So. No, this is, hey, listen, Listen, I could tell everybody, hey, use my sites. It's the best. And I'm going to shove stuff down your throat and help tell you to come through here. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but this podcast was developed at first without no making money on people in the first place. Okay, if you need me to work for you and help you promote your stuff, by all means, I will do that. But I would rather have you learn and at least appreciate some of the value that you and I are talking about, Joe. You know what I mean? That's you're about as humble guy as we can get. And if they can't trust you, then shoot, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, who cares, right? Well, man, I think it's cool, dude. I appreciate you having me on here, Mike, because I always get some kind of value in our conversations and learn something. And again, I hope those who are listening, I hope I can ask questions as well that the listeners can get answers for too. So
yeah. Well, I do too. I keep saying this, man. I want everybody to win, man. And my main thing is, you guys don't keep promoting yourself, and promote your pricing, promote your, the benefits of it. You don't have to tell everybody exact cost that you did that dent for. Give a general idea of what that would cost. The better you can educate your customer, the better customer you're going to get. Trust me. Yeah. When you don't say nothing, you keep everything behind closed doors, well, you're going to get all those cheapy people, and don't forget they're the pickiest. And then you're going to go, gosh, I got such headaches. All I get is this and that, because you are attracting those by not attracting the ones you want. So,
That's right.
So, Joe, I think we're going to wrap that, dude. So,
okay. Sounds good, Mike.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man. Again, dude. So,
my pleasure. My pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
All right, you guys, don't forget to check out Joe at Dent Evo on Instagram and dentevo.com on his website. He is super interesting as usual. Anyways, we're going to go on. I'll talk to you guys later. We'll have a good one. See ya. All right, you guys, that is it for this segment. I hope you guys really like this podcast. If you do, let me know. Hey, and don't forget to include Joe. Joe has been actually my co-host for a little bit, and he's going to continue to be. And he needs some little bit of love too. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, so you don't miss anything like this. And I do hit and show videos all around and drop them and do all that other good stuff, man. So I'm all about PDR. I'm super passionate about it, and I hope you guys are too. I'll talk to you guys later and see you on the next episode.